Hi, my name is Kevin Dunn, Senior Consulting Engineer for Apple. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about integrating Macintosh clients into a Novell eDirectory network. There are a number of options available to assist in the integration of Mac systems into an eDirectory infrastructure. You can use third-party plugins such as ProSoft Engineering's NetWare for Mac OS X or Condrey Corporation's Kanaka product. Further, you can also use Novell's Identity Manager, which has a newly developed connector for Apple Open Directory. Finally, you can perform schema modifications paired with Apple's native LDAP directory plugin. In this tutorial, I'll focus specifically on the last technique, that is schema modification. Schema are the rules of how information is structured and stored in a directory, just like a telephone book is structured in a certain way to allow easy and intuitive access to information, so are directories. But these rules have to be defined by the schema. In order to extend the schema of eDirectory to support the values or information that is necessary for a Mac client, these files have to be converted to the lightweight data interchange format, otherwise known as LDIF, and then imported into eDirectory. It is beyond the scope of this short tutorial to show you how to create an LDIF file for schema modifications, but if you'd like to know more about that, you can engage Apple Professional Services to help in the make-ready process of your production environment. The make-ready process will detail all the steps necessary for integrating Mac systems into an existing Novell infrastructure. We can, however, take a look at the built-in schema files for Mac OS X Snow Leopard and also some converted LDIF files required to modify eDirectory to support all of the object classes and attributes for Snow Leopard. Let me show you Apple's native schema files. These files can be found by selecting the Go menu, then Go to Folder, then the following directory path, /etc/openldap/schema, then click the Go button. You can see the apple.schema file as well as the Samba schema file. These two files hold the majority of the object classes and attributes that Mac clients query. Let's see what one of Apple's schema files look like. Going to launch apple.schema with TextEdit. Let's open the window so that we can see this. To a casual observer, it's just a bunch of numbers and names, but to the computer, it's the structure of data and values that is required to perform authentication and user management. Now let's look at a file that's been converted to LDIF. I'm going to do that by opening it in TextEdit as well. And I'm going to stretch that window so that we can compare it to the original file. And you can see it still looks complex, but now it's in a format that allows you to modify your directory to support all the information that a Mac requires. For example, looking at a few of these lines, you can see that the change type is modify and add either attribute types or object classes. This allows us to add all of the object classes and attributes to eDirectory. Let's look at the schema in Novell's eDirectory after all the schema modifications have taken place. I'm going to Safari to access my Novell server through the web browser. Then I'm going to click on Management Services, iManager, Authenticate to the server. Then I'm going to look at the schema objects and classes. I can see all of the Apple classes, or if I wanted to see attribute information, I could do that as well. These are all of the attributes that are required by the Macintosh client. Further, we can look at a particular user in iManager. We're going to modify the user, and we're going to browse for Alan Tufts in the user's OU. And we can see some of the specific information for that user. Once the schema is in place, the values can be populated with tools like JRB import from JRB software, EMU, or Enterprise Management Utility, from Omni Technology Solution, or Novell's iManager and other tools. Now that we have seen a little bit from the server side, let's look at the Mac and join or bind it to Novell's eDirectory. So let's close out Safari and these LDIF and schema files, and let's go look at our Macintosh client. I'm going to do that through screen sharing. We'll start by logging in as local workstation administrator. Then go to System Preferences, Accounts, click Login Options, click Edit button, open Directory Utility, click on LDAP v3, authenticate using the padlock if necessary, then click on the Edit or Pencil button, click New, type in the name of our server, and we're also going to encrypt using SSL, then click Manual, type in the name of our configuration, we'll call it SLES for SUSE Linux Enterprise Server. The reason I'm using manual at this point is that I previously saved a template for all of the mapping of attributes to the eDirectory server. That template was named VM-SLES. I'm going to say O equals Apple for our organization. Click OK. And while we're here, let's click the Edit button so you can see what I mean by mappings. Click on Search and Mappings. Then we can look at users, for example, and we're mapped to inet org person, POSIX account, or Apple user. These are some of the schema and attributes that we added to eDirectory for our Macintosh client. Click OK. Again, OK. Click on Search Policy, and we're going to make sure that we're in Custom Path. Then we're going to click Add to add our server, which is LDAP v3 vm/apple.edu, and click Add and Apply. Now that we are joined to the directory, we can log out and log in again as Alan Tufts. Here we can see our connected servers if we modify our Finder preferences and allow connected servers to be shown. You can see that we have VM-/homes. Using this connected server or SharePoint, we can navigate to Alan's folder and interact with it. For example, we can drag information into that folder. We could edit from there, and so on. This shows that we have successfully bound a Mac client to our eDirectory network. In this brief tutorial, we've talked about some of the options available for integrating with Novell's eDirectory, and we've also learned a little bit about schema and schema modification. Further, we bound our macOS client to eDirectory and logged into the Mac with an eDirectory user. We also had a SharePoint from Novell's file server automatically mounted to the desktop, and we copied information into that SharePoint. For further information, you can refer to Apple Open Directory documentation on the apple.com website. PeachPit also provides a title in its Apple training series called macOS 10 Directory Services, and you can find it at peachpit.com. Finally, if you do want to engage with Apple Professional Services, the best way to get more information about that is to visit the education pages on apple.com. Thanks for watching.